2 sticks on my head and challenge that impala. Good morning everyone, and welcome to Wild Earth Safari this morning. My name is Mark, Daniel is with me on camera, and Tara back in final control. Beautiful morning here at Djuma Game Reserve. Had a lovely red sun rising. Quite a little bit of haze in the west. No, sorry, east. I was talking about sunset when we first got here, and then I put it in my head that it's sunrise, and now I've still got east and west mixed up. But yes, that is a sunrise. Hope you're going to enjoy the morning with us. We had a very exciting night last night. I did sleep, but I was waking up a lot. I slept like a baby. I was awake every hour or so and listening to lion. There were lion calling all over the place. They were up and down. Sounded like a very big male. And I'm expecting that we might find some tracks and they might find some signs of them up on Buffelshoek Cutline. But first, we are here. We're going to just do a turn around Gowrie Dam, up Warburg's Road. Maybe we'll just have a look around because we followed a leopard last night, just towards the end of drive. We followed a leopard coming in from Triple M, or rather from Simbambili side. Actually, I think it was Arathusa Safari. I don't know where the boundary between those two are boundaries. But yes, we followed him. He was heading east, and we lost him just as we were getting onto Zoe's Road. And I think the idea would have been to go up to Zoe's Road, but I thought if he's heading east, we might sort of shortcut the circuit, or take a shortcut. That's what I thought we'd take a shortcut and come and have a look around Gowrie Dam first. Hello Impala. Oblivious to my doings, because he's got a female moving around it. But they've been looking off in odd angles at things. Morning Tex.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Good, thank you. Confirm your outage.
Yeah, I am. Between Yuri and Ingers, I'm going to go check down at the dam and then do a little bit of a circuit.
Okay, copy that, thanks. Yeah, I will go southeast and check Pisikaya.
Okay, copy. Did you hear Ngala last night?
Yeah.
Yes, Maningi. There was, I'm sure, Big Madorda. It sounded like probably up towards Sandy Patch and then back up to Buffelshoek Cutline. I'll head that way after. I'm just going to look around to see if that Ingwe didn't come down towards the dam.
Okay, copy that, thanks. Did you hear any Ngala coloring or not?
Yeah, a lot. Definitely one Big Madorda, also some Mafazi. So I think we need to check Sandy Patch, maybe Buffelshoek Cutline, somewhere up there.
Okay, copy that, thanks. You think if maybe I go straight to Pisikaya, then I go around Zoe's, the Messi might be active now or still early?
No, I think they're probably coming back, but I've been there, the last 2 times I've been there, I haven't seen any activity there.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if they're moving there or what's happening.
Yeah, but if you check now, I'll check later, and if there's nothing when we both check, then they've moved.
Okay, copy that, thanks. I will just go and check now. From there, I will just go find Pala Plains, check Sandy Patch if I can find any contact with that Ngala there.
Okay, copied. Sorry about that, everyone. Just making sure that we can cover some ground this morning. Interesting to note that Tex didn't hear, but then I think he's got aircon in his room. So what are you at? Yeah, he did, but he's alarming now, and he's not interested in the female. He's now suddenly alarming. He's looking at something behind us. Hello, Mr. Wildebeest. You're also coming to see. I didn't even see him. Where did he come from? And this Impala is not very happy about something. So I'm going to just check again around here on Quarantine, the open area called Quarantine. Excuse me. Yeah, I see this Wildy's also turned around and he's seen where the Impala's looking, so Are we gonna? And this wildebeest not even looking at us. So let's just have a look. Or maybe they saw the white from that vehicle. See, if you wear white on a Land Rover, on a Game Drive vehicle, and the drive is making its way through bushes in the distance, animal just sees these little flashes of white and they think that it's other animals alarming. White, you can see it from a mile away. He stopped looking, in fact. That's why I think that's what he was doing. Not too far-fetched to think that there's a leopard up here. But he's gone back to feeding. And the wildebeest moved off. He's lost his woman. His women have lost faith in him. They lost most of their babies. Now they lost one of the females. So our lone wildebeest bull is alone again. Or our wildebeest bull is now on his own. He was alone for a while, and then as females came in, they had some calves. They lost a lot of them. Smelling tree trunk. You're going to rub his horns against it. Or his forehead. I wonder if there hasn't maybe been another bull rubbing against that tree. That's what he's smelling. Anyways. I wonder where all those females are with the last couple of babies. White-tailed mongoose tracks. Been a long time since we've seen the white-tailed mongoose of the open area. The one that, I think his name was Mojo, or Moja. Moja is one in Swahili. Mojo is a different thing. It's not an African word or a Caribbean word. Okay, we're descending into the cold depths of Gari Dam Valley. A lot of little mounds of sand covering up holes, ant holes and wasp holes and others. I wonder if they're expecting a weather change. So Texan is going to do Zoe's Road to see where those leopard tracks came out and where he went. And I think since Texan is going back that way, we'll go this way. We're going to continue. Maybe we'll do Vubu Road up to the north. Depends on what is found. Here are hyena tracks. Big hyena, probably floppy ear. And a black velvet slug. I did film one of these for one of my shows once. I wonder if we can just take the camera off quickly and Have a look at it. Really incredible creatures, these. Remarkable. It's called a velvet slug, and it's one of our larger mollusks. The lovely sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, there's no activities, but I put a one now, so what but I think. There's also here fresh content here. So people are still inside this one of the places.
Okay. Lip over the head part of it. The only other slug that I've ever seen that's about as big as these get is the banana slug of California.
Okay, so we're saying, which direction is that? He said maybe it might be from what? Sandy Creek area.
Babbling away here, talking, and the sound, and we're still putting the camera on the back. Okay. Okay, we'll go. We've got to find things to get the camera off the vehicle, give the camera person some exercise. Fresh early dung. From a youngster. Heron coming into land. Oh, it's gone. Like a pterodactyl. Coming in with a giant wingspan. It's pretty. Okay, change the plan. I'm just going to go up Bubu Road up to Bibbles or Cutline and have a look there. Guinea fowl. My leopard didn't come this way. Guinea fowl had been sleeping in one of these trees last night. Elephants were here not too long ago. Or maybe, in fact, Gary Cutline rather than Mvubu Road. Good morning, Joshua. Or are you Bubba? From Kentucky, did you say? Don't get Bubbas in Kentucky. Oh, you do get Bubbas in Kentucky. I thought it's only got Bubbas in Miami. The elephant came down this way. Try and zoom in on them. I'll try and go slowly. I think it's quite comical, this little trot of theirs. Come children, off you go. Go down. Look at the light through these grasses. Very, very fine dew has fallen. So that should look nice going up Gary Cutline into the sun. And I hope all these guinea fowl are going to carry straight on Central Road. It takes one to fly and they all fly. Bye bye. Suddenly they remembered they had wings. They don't need Red Bull. So we're following elephant tracks because he came this way. Door. Elephant bull was still walking on the road here. So I brought something that's not going to live in the vehicle, and I promised that I would, and I forgot yesterday. Piece of string and a tape measure. It's from my sewing kit, the tape measure, and since I'm not ever going to be really measuring anything to sew other than sewing on buttons and maybe darning the odd sock. I don't darn socks, I just buy new ones because I don't really wear socks much other than in winter. But yes, this is going to be for measuring tracks, not only elephant but leopard and others, just for the fun of it. Of course, with elephant we need to have the elephant as well, so that we can try and guess his shoulder height and then do the whole measuring the track times pi times 2.5, whatever, times, I don't know, that whole formula. We'll see where we get with it. But that can now live in the vehicle for future. Any presenter who wants to measure tracks, of course the tape measure you can just measure the small tracks. The string is to lay around the perimeter, the circumference of an elephant's foot. Since we're not exactly going to get an elephant to stand still so we can measure his foot, we've got to do it with his tracks. And we must go back to that tree that we saw, that one elephant next to him. We were sort of gauging that his shoulder height was more or less there where that one dead piece of branch was sticking out. There was an elbow in a dead branch that looked like about 20 feet off the ground. Of course the elephant isn't 20 feet tall, but when you're a mere human being and you've got a tall elephant, it can seem like 20 feet. There's been a lot of elephant that came through this way, crossing the northeast. And somebody just walked across the road here. Could it have been a Nyala bull? Disappeared into the bush. Rather chilly. There he is. A little bit further than I expected. Good morning, Squire. Magnificent bull. And just a little bit further forward. I want to see your face. Very, very striking antelope, the Nyala. Of all the members of the family of the spiral-horned antelope, they're probably one of the most striking. Although having seen a bongo is like a Nyala on steroids. Bigger and heftier. And dark, like this. we're going to carry on. I'll see you later, Mr. Nyala. I want to, while it's early, try and follow up on lion, because it's being as cool as it is, the sun just starting to warm things up, and the cold wet grasses kind of warning that you might still find lion on the road. Before the sun gets very effective and starts pushing them off into thicker bush, let's just get up to Buffelshoek cut line and have a look. Joshua wanted to know what those things were that were running in front of us. They were called guinea fowl. I know that there are people in the States that have guinea fowl. They keep them as game birds, as like pheasants, and I don't think they're such great eating, to be honest. So, have we got any sign of a catch? Not yet. Go west, young man. Elephants. There they are, elephants. Elephant tracks, but they're already quite far in. Just get a glimpse of one ellie. I'm sure might be able to find more later today. Can hardly see him. No. Not gonna see much of our okay, we're gonna have to do something about elephants later, unless we can see them from a bit further up. Been a lot of them crossing over here. Some in Glove on Buffelshoek, just visible from the cut line west of Gary cut line. Go again, Andrew. This road surface has also recently been redone, so it should be easy to find some tracks. Excuse me, doves. Thank you. Every time I lie in bed and I listen to Lion, I think to myself, I better get up, just stand outside my door and listen properly. Because when you're listening from inside a building, even though my windows are open, actually that's why I was so cold. I need to close my windows. Note to self. But even with my windows open, it's pretty hard to tell direction. But then when I'm asleep and I wake up and I hear lions roaring and I think, it's too cold. If I get up and stand outside, it's going to take me 2 hours to fall asleep again. Hello, pretty bird. Look at you. Puffed up and waiting for sunshine. What would the day be without a greeting or lilac-breasted roller? And is gone. Can't get my binoculars to stop misting up. Linda, good morning to you. And Roger, good morning. We have some antelope questions. Linda wants to know what's the largest. Roger wants to know how many different types of antelope. Well, I think, Linda, eland have been seen here before. In the Sabi Sand. I can't be certain of that though. But other than that, our largest antelope would be the kudu. If I'm wrong about eland. I'm sure back in the 80s there was some, don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But the largest antelope is the eland. That's also the family of the kudu and the nyala. And second largest would be kudu. So I guess you could say our most common largest antelope is the kudu. Roger wants to know how many different antelope there are. Let's see. Kudu, bushbuck, nyala. Wildebeest. Kudu, bushbuck, nyala, wildebeest, greyduiker, steenbuck, impala, reedbuck, waterbuck, lion track. I don't know where I was. I think it was on 9 so far. Just like 3 toes of a lion. Big lion. So far I'm at about 9 different antelope. See anything down this road. It goes to Tumbuti Dam. What have I missed in antelope species? Sorry, Franklin. So, Roger, I'm still trying to think if I've missed any antelope out. I don't think I have. I think that's the sum total. There were hartebeest here once upon, Tsessebe once upon a time, which would have made it 10, but they got eaten by lions. There was a time when the Sabi Sand was self-contained, when it had perimeter fencing. It was separate to Kruger on account of the fact that Kruger is a government reserve or park, national park, and the Sabi Sand is still a private game reserve. And the landowners of the Sabi Sand had been quite diligent in the rhino breeding projects, and the first rhino had been reintroduced into this area already as early as the early 60s. It was through the 40s and 50s, I think, that rhino were wiped out of this area. And the first white rhino to be reintroduced was back in the early 60s. And then the population grew, so that in the late 80s it was reaching its carrying capacity as far as the population of white rhino was concerned. So they decided they were going to sell off some rhino. The first rhino, instead of selling it for a monetary value, they swapped it for Tsessebe. Hartebeest. I don't know what hartebeest. Or were they Tsessebe? See, now even then I've forgotten. But I remember being on that capture exercise to catch the rhino. And they brought in 25 of these antelope, supposedly one of the fastest antelope, only to have them all eaten by lion, because they came from an area where there were no predators, and you can't do that. Bring animals from a reserve that doesn't have predators, where they've been bred for relocation, and then introduce them to an area where, in those days, in the late 80s, the Sabi Sand lion population was phenomenal. We didn't have the likes of the Mapojos and the Majingi lions. The impression I got last night from the noise I was hearing was that there were Majingi lions running up and down. But that's strange. It must have been more than likely up on Buffelshoek, because I'm not seeing any sign of them here, except for those 3 toes down at Tambuti Dam. If I look more carefully on the main road down there, I probably would see it, but it's quite hard gravel, this. It doesn't look like anything. There's that honey badger again. Nothing here. Okay, so that means let's try Aubrey's Road. Fire break here in Aubrey's Road. It's very puzzling, because there was one moment when lion was really close by. yet I'm not picking up any sign of them here. So that must have been maybe up on Buffelshoek. You got some of that. Morning, Lee. About the guinea fowl, do I know anyone who keeps guinea fowl? Well, I know guinea fowl are quite ubiquitous in this country. I mean, even in suburbia, in most towns and cities, a lot of towns and cities. Cape Town, where my parents are in Knysna, they have them come into the garden. And of course, people have bird feeders and things, so the guinea fowl have learnt this, and they're quite comfortable in suburbia. But there are people that keep the guinea fowl, and you get the European type of guinea fowl that's completely different looking to these, much paler. But I wasn't quite hearing Tara when you were talking about why your parents kept them. Well, that's interesting. I'm not surprised. I mean, this is what happens for those people who live in the cities and the suburbs where guinea fowl occur. It's similar to that. But rattlesnakes. Okay, I'm getting a strong feeling that these lions weren't even near this part of the world. And I'm out of comms. Still, we'll go down towards Sydney's Dam just in case. And then we're just going to carry on, do a normal, well, carry on with a drive elsewhere. Something was dragged here by hyena. Going the other way. Hyena must have caught something or stolen something from someone. Don't fly, don't fly, don't fly. Don't fly. Double-banded sandgrass. And I can hear some ground hornbills further up on Buffelshoek. Just going to have a look at that from the day. Really can't get you, Tara. There's so much hissing. Morning, Impala. Okay, and everyone's back. Just having a look down closer to Sydney's Dam where I saw those tracks yesterday.
There was still, I could see a lion track, but I think it's the same tracks we saw yesterday. No change there. There were some drag marks heading up Sandy Patch North, or heading down Sandy Patch North rather, in the southerly direction. Drag marks of a hyena and its kill. Let me see if I can get hold of Texan. Texan, come in. Texan, come in. No, still no radio. Huge elephant track. Texan, come in. Text. Must be on Sandy Patch. Impala plane somewhere around there, Triple M. I'm not getting signal to them. He was saying he didn't see any tracks on Zoe's Road, which means that leopard didn't even come out on Zoe's Road. Maybe it had a kill somewhere. But why he would have left the kill beyond me? Maybe he made a kill. That may be more of an answer. Andrew, come in. Something, I saw something across the road. Where that tree is hanging over the road far in the distance, just behind there. Oh, it's gone already. It's quite a distance away. Might have been, I don't know what it is, or was. It's like the back leg disappearing into the bush. Whatever it was, must have been big enough for me to see from here. Text coming. Top of soil. Gosh, Sandy, a very huge question. Hi there, Sandy. What type of soil do we have in South Africa? Sandy, South Africa is very, very big. Maybe not as big as the US, but it's big. And you'll get a different soil type within 2 miles. Within the expanse of the country, there are probably every type of soil you can think of. Even here in the Sabi Sand, even here at Djuma, we have different soil types. they talking about?
Working concept.
But yes, there are places where we have really rich black soil. There are places where we have very red soil with a high iron content, and it's the oxidizing of the iron that causes the redness of the soil. This is quite sandy here. This is decomposed granite mostly, and quartzite. I'm just going to look a little bit closer now at these lion tracks. I'm not picking up any Nkonzo out of the cut line, except for maybe 3 toes here at Tamboti Dam. There's also drag marks from Sydney's dam, the PC dragging something down Sandy Patch North.
One of my daughters, I said, if I was on this one, in touch,
Okay, copy, thanks. So while I was thinking that I was hearing lion in the north, and there's definitely a lion track here, but I can't see where he came from or where he went. Might have come through the grasses. But evidently up on Triple M, one of these males, and we don't know who, I don't even know who they are, but one of these males killed a baby buffalo up on Simbambili. But we're going to do Mbubu Road, take it back to Gari Dam, because we want to get back closer to camp. There's one of the staff of Vuyatela saw Karula a few minutes ago. We'll see if we can head back that way and see if we can find her. So, Sandy, about your soil question, I hope that sort of answers it. And you'll find that a lot of the places where the richest soil is the high rainfall areas. That's where a lot of the farming and agriculture takes place, mostly the agriculture. Anyways, Marla wants to know the difference between a gazelle and an antelope. Well, the gazelles are actually a sort of a subfamily of the antelope, really. They are antelope. But we don't have any gazelles here. You see, gazelles are open plains, grassland antelope. They're from the family Antilopenae, as far as I know. Energy to weight ratio, food, energy, weight, water. Their bodies can conserve water. They can live without it. Couple of anatomical differences, but you can't really say that they are the main differences between antelope and gazelles, because other antelope have some of the same features. You know, if you look at go ahead.
Now Corolla is on the Galago shortcut, but she's now moving to the Fatigue. She's going on the power line close to Gravestar.
Okay, copy, thanks.
They did put the branch on the road where she did leave the road to the Fatigue. In the front.
Okay, thanks, Lucas. Yeah, I'm just on the other side of Gary Dam. I'll be there shortly. But thanks for that. Karula heading towards the lodge. Well, actually towards final control down the power line. Gonna go and visit Tara. But the one feature is that gazelles, all of the gazelles, males and females, have horns. And they have very striking markings. But the markings and the horns are more a feature of antelope that live out on open grassland. I don't know, I'd still like to see maybe a write-up or a table or something that lists differences between antelope and gazelles, and whether one can consider them that different, considering that gazelles are actually a type of antelope. But we wouldn't consider impala a gazelle. We wouldn't, or any of the antelope that we get here. Gazelles are quite habitat specific. Oh, just like this patch of road immensely. It's so rough. like a mirror this morning, the dam. Hello, Susie. Cook. I'm sorry I drive you crazy. Susie's saying that about that about me when I get out of the vehicle and I go. And Susie wants to know what I would do if I'm out of the vehicle looking at tracks and there's a lion or a leopard in the grass. Well, most of the time, it's actually why I'm getting out of the vehicle is to look for that very lion or leopard. And sometimes they are there in the grass. And Susie wants to know what I would do. And I have to say it depends. But most of the time, it would warn me that it's there. And the cats are pretty good at that. When they see a human, they growl and snarl and spit sometimes. Occasionally they'll charge. Occasionally they'll get a little bit aggressive if you're too close. But generally they'll make some sort of vocal, give you some sort of vocal warning if they don't like your presence. And that's when you stop dead, you assess the situation, you see where they are. If they haven't run away yet, then you slowly back off. Get back in the vehicle and give them a bit of space. But it's very difficult to say what one would do because every time I've been in situations with lion or leopard or any of the big animals on foot, most of the time it's always different. It's always different. There have been times when I haven't had to do anything. There have been times when I've actually followed lion on foot while they've been hunting. Granted, it's from a distance, and they've known that we were there, and we managed to just stop at one point. We were on slightly higher ground, and we actually managed to just crouch down and watch these lions hunting this buffalo. Well, they missed it, but it was still exciting to watch being on foot. I've been with cheetah on foot when they've been hunting. I've been with leopard on foot with their kills when they've been hunting. I've been with lion on their kills on foot. And often they'll just sit up and they'll look at you and they'll flatten their ears and thrash their tail and give you a sort of a visible warning that they're not happy with you. But I think, Susie, it's got a lot to do with having been on foot with these animals for more than half my life. And while I don't want to sound complacent, I think I'm confident enough that I know what I'm doing and that I know what to do. I think that's the most important thing. I know what to do, how to behave. It's always adrenaline pumping. It doesn't matter how often, it doesn't matter how many times we bump into these animals on foot. It's always adrenaline pumping. It's always gets the heart beating, kidneys pounding. Once the adrenaline goes through the system. But they are not the kind of animals that attack on sight. They don't have reason to. And despite them being big and hairy with big teeth and claws and a reputation for killing the way they do, they can be mostly timid. And I would say that most of the time that I've bumped into lion and leopard on foot, they run away. 9 times out of 10. And sometimes when they get a little bit aggressive and they do a mock charge, shouting them down can stop them. I've often had to shout at a cat when it's charging. See, the cat doesn't really know how big and strong, well, it knows how big you are, but doesn't really know what you're capable of. And so the cats can be a little bit timid sometimes. I wouldn't purposely go walking up to them. I wouldn't if I'm driving around and I see cats, then there's no reason to get out of the car and walk with them. Unless, of course, it's in a situation where you lost your ladies, Mr. Wildy. Actually, we should keep going because we're going to not... Oh, I suppose we've lost Karula already. She moved off into the bush. Where are your babies and your ladies? He's wandering around aimlessly like a lost wildebeest. Gazes off into the distance. Are you there? No. No sign of them there. Let me walk this way and gaze off into the distance this way. Are you there? No. Okay, let me walk off and gaze into the distance that way. No, you're not there. There? No, not there. Okay, let me walk. Now we could carry on the whole day. That is what happens. The ladies lost faith in their man because one of them got taken by lion. Decided to find greener pastures. And a bull that will stand up to lionesses. Or put himself first. Maybe they'll be back. They might be up on Zoe's Road or Impala Plains. The last time they were lying here chasing them, they moved off for a while and eventually came back. Wildebeest need these open areas. Once again, one of those antelope that lives out in the open mostly, so you've got both male and female with horns. Hyena tracks. Oh, sorry, Joshua. I forgot. You see, I get sidetracked. I'm so sorry. How long does a hyena live? As far as I know, up to about 40 years. No, am I right? In captivity, maybe 12 years. What 40? No, not 40. Confusing myself now. Yeah, I think about 12. Joshua. How old are you? Joshua? Kentucky Joshua. Is this one of the boys that we haven't heard from for a while? Joshua, Nathan and Eli. They went from Kentucky. Ah, Grandpa's got a farm in Kentucky. Got horses on the farm. Isn't Kentucky where the horses come from? Bluegrass state. I just saw something running here. That could have been a duiker. Close to where Karula has been seen. where she went in. So she's here somewhere down the power line. I guess we can take a little ride in and have a look. Let's just check if she hasn't come back to the road. But that's the power line that takes power down into the camp, and that straight line gets straight through to FC. No tracks on the road. Termite mound there might be something. Oh, I fly, I'm busy. Why do they wait until I'm busy looking for something? They'll come and bug me. Karula. Yoo-hoo. See, when we were up on Tambuti Dam on Buffalo's cut line and she was seen, that we needed to be here within less than a minute, which was physically impossible, but to be able to try and catch her, we would have needed to be here so soon after she was seen. She could be going parallel to Gallagher shortcut, going down into that deep drainage line behind our camp. She could have cut through this way, gone back towards Vuyatela. If she's got something tucked away somewhere in here in terms of food, another story entirely. But this is almost the end of the road for us. We can't go much further with this gully. So we had to try. Maybe going back. I thought maybe if the cubs were there, they'd be running around playing or up in a tree or something. We might see something or hear something. Franklin shouting. Drongo shouting. something shouting. Morning, Zach. Thank you for your question. Zach wants to know how long leopard cubs will stay with the mother. Zach, it's around about 2 years. And after 18 months or so, they start getting a little independent. But as we've seen with Karula, she's been giving birth every 2 years, almost regularly, for the last 6 years. No, 4 years. 6 years. 4 years. 4.5 years. What am I saying? And it's going to take a little bit of a ride up Gallagher shortcut to see if we can see if she's come out. Then we'll go back to quarantine, the open area. But Karula, for the 3 litters that she's had in her life, they were about 2 years apart. About something else. Sorry. But I don't know if we're going to be able to see her. She is going to be moving around maybe, so she might come out again at some stage today. But I don't think she came down this way. Anyways, we'll carry on. Hello, Jenny, Missouri, saying that she saw the lion take down. Sorry. Sorry, Jenny. Saying she saw the lion take down a baby wildebeest. Well, this last lion killed Jenny was an adult wildebeest, but irrespective, you might be referring to another kill when they killed a youngster. But Jenny wants to know if a lone lioness, single lioness or a leopard can take down an adult wildebeest. I've known the lionesses, several lionesses, very large lionesses in fact, to take down wildebeest on their own, adult male wildebeest. It does take a pretty big cat, pretty experienced cat, I might add. Leopard, I don't think so. And you might find a big leopard Tom will take down maybe a big, not big, but an adult female wildebeest. If we get a very big male leopard. But not many leopard, I don't think, that could do that. Okay, we're going to go back now, carry on with our drive. All my attempts at trying to find some tracks to follow have failed. You've got a flip.
Okay.
Just felt sluggish. Had to change the flat this morning before drive. I'll give you 3 guesses, viewers. I'll give you 3 guesses which wheel I had to change. But after last night's off-roading, wasn't surprised we had to do that. Now there's a very interesting thing. The ghost in the tree.
There's a cotton candy.
Someone lost their cotton candy. Now, to the untrained eye, one might think that isn't a social spider's web, one of the community web spiders. But it is not. And I've actually seen a false marula tree completely covered in that silk, that web. And that is actually the web of a type of caterpillar that lives in large numbers. And that's in a milkberry, and I'm hoping that they don't do too much damage to that. Is it a milkberry? Looks like it could be from this distance. We're not going to get closer to it. That's about the closest we're going to get to it. It's on the top of that tree, and we're on a bit of a rise. As soon as we go down into the dip, we won't see it. I'm surprised I haven't seen it before, but maybe because it hasn't been that big. But these caterpillars can reach such large numbers, and they can cover an entire tree with that silk. And one of the main, well, there are a number of differences between that and the community web spider. But the one thing is that you can often see the small droppings of the caterpillars towards the center of that bundle of silk. And as they move around the tree, devouring the leaves, the silk just gets more and more, because everywhere they go, they leave a silk trail. And in caterpillars, silk is produced from the mouth, or near the mouth. I forget where it's the head area. Not like spiders, they have spinnerets at the back. Onward ho! Can't even see it from this angle. No sign of Karula. I mean, she might only be a few yards off the road, but if they're lying down, cover, we're not going to see them. Baba, Heather's saying front left tire. Good guess, Heather. Josh didn't hear me with the hyena earlier. Or Baba. How long do they live? I think about 12 years. I'm just checking my book. Can they take down a cheetah? Yes, they could kill a cheetah very easily. Most predators, in fact, all the predators can kill a cheetah very easily. They've got to get it first, but yes, it is possible. Hoping that we're going to see Karula here, but no. I think I've looked for that answer in my book before. Somewhere in my head there's an answer. Somewhere in my head there was an incident of a hyena living for up to 40 odd years in captivity. But their longevity in the wild, I'm not too sure about that. A lot of hyena tracks here. Okay, we're giving up on Karula and the cubs for now. Oh, a sunbird. I haven't seen a sunbird for a while. Oops, hang on a second. What's puzzling me is no sign of Induna from last night. No, nothing. Hello, little boys. Wildebeest again. I've actually seen him rubbing against this tree and scratching in the dirt here. It's one of his territorial markings. But he's not feeding, he's not chewing, walking every which way, standing and looking. I guess, pardon? He's pining. He's at a loss. Up until now he's had his group of females and their calves. And now he's a loner again. See, the wildebeest doesn't go off and find females. He gets himself an arena, an area, a territory, also known as a lek, I think. Oh, sorry, Hornbill, didn't see you there. And he waits patiently until the females come to him. And if he's a really strong and virile wildebeest, he has a very good area with very good access to water and good grazing, and he can attract a good group of females to come and stay with him for some time, long enough to conceive and have calves. Only problem is the females can move on at any time. They're not bound to him. I wonder when we will see them again. Fisherman's Dip. Let's go and see if the hyenas are woken up, or back at home, or around. Since we've had Josh asking about hyenas, we'll go and ask the hyena how old they are. Drag marks again. Now I wonder. These drag marks are invariably going to the den. But I could probably take a picture of these drag marks and they would be the same drag marks that we saw at Sydney's Dam, as far away as it is. I don't know if you recognize anything in them. But if we look on the left hand side, there are like two lines that are double lines where two hooves are probably. Can you see that, Daniel? Is it easy to pick that up? Not the easiest thing to see. But anyways, the drag. Sorry? No, let's just get there because they've dragged something to the den. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it looks identical to the drag marks that I saw from Sydney's Dam. An animal being dragged in exactly the same position, where there's the main drag mark, and then just off to the side where two of the legs are being dragged. They're being dragged in such a way that the two parts of the hoof are making little parallel lines. And I think those drag marks are on top of Texan's tracks from this morning. Drag marks coming through here. Definitely on top of Texan's. So they've dragged something all the way back to the den. Gone dragged it through there. means that it's only recently returned to the den with whatever it is it was dragging. I guess it's an impala. Sorry. Jackson, come in. Yeah, I've just been looking for Karula. I had no sign of her. Confirm she's been found again? When you came to Mpisi Kai, did you see drag marks coming through Philemon's Dip? That's the same drag marks that I saw at Sydney's Dam. I'm at the Mpisi Kai now, there's nothing here. Okay, copied. Did you see where I came back out onto the road on Zoe's from that Ingwe last night? Oh, okay. It was near the old Kaya, near that old Mpisi Kaya turn off. I don't know where that Ingwe must have gone. Okay, so these tracks, drag marks, were seen this morning. But none of the hyena are around. Wherever they might have put this carcass, unless we're just not seeing it. They could do. Looks like something was here on the where this grass is flattened. Sorry, Herman, I had. Give me that last question, please. What was on there? Hello, Sandy. I would visit the Gari gang if I knew where they were. We've been all around the lodge. They were still up in the tree when we were leaving this morning. Near his house. Sandy's asking about the Gari gang. Now, the Gari gang is a local herd. No, you don't get herds of baboon, Mark. You should know that. Local troop of baboons, and there's a new youngster, a new baby in the troop. Sandy, they're not my favorite people at the moment. The amount of damage and destruction that they've done recently. They are skating on thin ice, that troop. But I don't know where they are, I'm afraid. We've been all around Gari Dam and even at the lodge now looking for Karula. There's no sign of them at the moment. For some reason they don't seem to be leaving the lodge very much. These days. They seem to be staying within a very small area. Well, it's interesting that there's no activity at the den. Interesting that these drag marks go all the way to the den. There are a lot of tracks, hyena tracks all around here. Maybe they're busy elsewhere. And the cubs are tucked away inside the den. They won't come out until adults or the sub-adults come back. So we'll continue with our drive. What we can find for you this morning. Been rather an odd morning, I think. Sometimes the Gari gang heads down Weaver's Nest, where we've just turned off. I was just looking to see if there were any tracks there. They sometimes head down south and go and spend the day foraging south of us. But there are no tracks of theirs there. Buffalo have been through here. Here is squirrel. Well, the impala don't seem too concerned. Looking in that way. Hey little squirrel, what do you see? We seem to be more important than whatever it was shouting at. Starling shouting. Drew his attention briefly. I'm just thinking, as we're approaching Chelapan, I'm thinking it's time we found some rhino tracks. See if we can't find out where our rhino have been. And, well, I guess we don't need to find any tracks. I could still go look for rhino tracks and follow them back to these rhino, just for the sake of following rhino tracks. But oh, look at that. Rhino. At last. Hello boys and girls. Don't know who you are yet. I think, is that calf maybe? We've had a bit of a drought with rhino. Let's just move in a little closer and have a look, see if we can find any features to look at, to identify. For those of you who are watching us who haven't really been with us for some time yet, and who are just fairly new to Wild Earth Safari, these are what we call square-lipped rhinoceros, also known as white rhino. And it's a very rough terrain that we're in here. Don't go, lady. Okay, I'm going to move into that bush. I don't want them to move in to that thicker bush. This young bull at the back here is a young bull we know quite well. Floppy ear. He was given the name Ndlevani, Ndleve meaning ears. Ndlevani, the one with the ear. As far as the other two are concerned, the young female in the middle, and I think that other bull, that longhorn bull, could be 3 of that crash of 5. Well, no, we know this one for sure because he's got that lovely floppy left ear. 3 Nkombi Chelapan. Okay, I'm going to try and move again. Get my hat out of the picture. Oh, I'm not crunching on sticks when I'm with rhino. It can make them nervous sometimes. Well, they seem to be okay with us so far. Not too bad. Morning, children. Relax. Coming to say hello to us. Have you missed us that much? As long as that's all you do. Get a really good view of his toes. His feet are so clean with these green grasses and the wet grasses. So cow and her calf moving back towards Chelapan. They can maybe move out into the open for us. So let's try and keep up with them. That was lovely, the way they came towards us. That young female also approached us. I think it's mother and calf, rather than that big bull and small cow that we've seen before. Short-horn female and calf. Don't know if anybody can help me confirm that, and what this youngster would be doing with them, which would mean that it's not part of the 5, that he's the only one that was part of that crash of 5. I think that female that was with those bulls that was in that crash of 5 was bigger than this young cow, this little one. And this, I think, is short-horn female with her calf that we haven't seen for some time now. And he's getting bigger, she's getting bigger. Okay, she's starting to trot. I'm just gonna, they're on a trot now. Heading towards Chelapan. Just stop. And she might stop. Stop, woman. Yeah, they're slowing down as they get closer to the water. Keep up with them a little. Oops. I can't hear you, Tara. Young bull following them now. Boom, 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 boom. Tail curled up. Elizabeth wanting to know why I know black rhino were introduced into the area. Actually, Elizabeth, what it was back in the 50s, and there was a time when the white rhino was nearing extinction. The black rhino population was still pretty good. The first rhinos that were brought close to extinction were the white rhino, because they are fairly docile and they're easily approachable, and they're grassland animals. They live out in the grassland. The black rhino lives in denser bush. It's a little bit more aggressive. So poachers first went for the white rhinos. Why no black rhinos were introduced? I don't think at the time the black rhino population was sufficient to bring in black rhino eventually. When eventually the black rhino population dropped so much, and there's still a fairly decent black rhino population, but now there doesn't need to be any translocation or movement of rhino from area to area, because it's all open to Kruger, and I'm guessing that they've gone through the drainage line. There they are. Going out to Vulture's Nest Road. See if we can take that old track that goes out to Vulture's Nest. But since they're moving away from us now the way they are, this young male with the floppy ear, I don't think he minds much, but that cow with the calf, she seems a little bit skittish. And if she's just going to continue to move away from us, it's probably not wise. Not that it's not wise, but it would probably be best to just leave her be. Especially since they're moving away from an open area into rather thick bush. If we're going to be trying to follow them, it's going to make a noise and push them further. There's the young bull. They're going to cross through to those mud pans on Nyala Road South now. Trinkombi heading east and now crossed Vulture's Nest. But I don't suppose that really answers the question properly, why black rhino weren't introduced. I don't think I really could answer it. I don't know why. They didn't need to be, I guess. That was the answer. There she is. She's not running. Now she's starting to trot. And he's just following like a sick puppy. She started trotting, so he did. He's not very skittish, this young bull. But he wants to hang out with her. Maybe he's... And they're now crossing Nyala Road South. They're probably going to go through onto Battalier Road. So I think at this point I'm not going to leave them be, because there I just can see the other two, unless it's different rhino, but it's just seen the other 2, 3. Yeah, there's Floppy here now. Okay, they've crossed through onto Battalier Road, and I'm going to leave them to relax a little bit. Maybe we'll make a trip around that way, but they just keep moving from us, so I think it's wise to leave them be. And the Trinkombi have now crossed Nyala Road South. Looks like they're going through onto Battalier Road. I'm leaving the lock. Hello Diane, New Zealand. We're going across the planet now. New Zealand, you've got to be in afternoon, evening even. New Zealand. Hello Diane. Shanae there too. What fast? No. What runs faster than a rhino or a hippo? What runs faster than a rhino or a hippo? I think an elephant may be faster than a rhino or a hippo. Here's the rubbing post. Let's show you this rubbing post. There's a rhino midden just up ahead, and this is a tree stump that's probably been used for decades, if not longer. Do you want to take the camera off? Part of So now this is not really that old, because at some point this was a lead wood, so basically this is not going to rot and it's not going to get any insect damage. This is going to weather away, and at some point in the history of this tree being dead, it had been cut by humans, probably to use as a fence post, maybe to use for building. But it's obviously, since it's been cut and it's been a tree stump, it's been used and rubbed against by mostly rhino, I'd say probably rubbing horn, and probably also warthog having a good rub against it. And this is a smooth, I mean, especially this part up here, almost like it's been sanded with sandpaper. But then again, you know, the skin of these animals is almost as rough as sandpaper. But it can sometimes get that almost a glazed look about it, like it's been sanded and varnished. Just pass me the camera a second. Look at that man. He's wearing Jan's hat.
Yeah, it's a good look for me.
It is. Looks like you stepped out of a western.
So again,
The good, the bad, and the ugly. You can be the good. I can be the bad and the ugly. I was saying, just in case you needed to see what Daniel looked like. Something been scratching around the midden recently. Something like a rhino. They have water in all these pans on Nyala Road South. No. Hello Jody in New Mexico. On that question of who runs faster than a rhino or a hippo, Jody's saying the human that the rhino or the hippo is chasing. But Jody, I actually have to tell you that the human would be caught by a rhino or a hippo. Unless you're a really fast sprinter. We are not that fast on our two legs. And as hard as it may seem to believe that a hippo or a rhino can run faster than us, it's true. But yeah, I think elephants could be faster than a hippo and a rhino. It's a strange atmosphere today. I don't know what it is. That I can't put my finger on it. It could be. I don't know. I'm not hearing as much bird song as I normally would hear. There's a stillness to today that's unusual. And it's not only the sort of the lack of animals. Some dwarf mongoose around. Let's stay with Nyala Road and go up to Buffelshoek Dam. I think I need a piece of worry. Elephants. Yesterday's elephant tracks. We might be lucky with elephants at Buffelshoek Dam. Some of these signs of elephant that I'm seeing here are not that old. Still some green leaves that are looking quite freshly plucked that are lying in the road. Matter of where they went, whether they did all go up towards the dam. Starting to look a little bit fresher, this elephant dung, the elephant tracks. I should do the fingertip test. Fresh leaves in the road, they're not far ahead. Away, fly away. Yoo-hoo, elephants. Excuse me, Franklin. We run that way. I guess they've been and gone Not here at the dam at the moment. I was almost expecting them to be here. But then again, you know, that's the whole thing about nature. You don't expect anything. You've got to accept the way things are, what we find, where we find it. Lovely still day at Gowrie at Buffelshoek Dam. The dung is quite cold inside, which means that it was during the night these elephants were around. I guess a cold, damp evening keeps things a little bit more moist than if it was a hot summer's evening when it would dry out quicker. It's interesting. Franklin's. Couldn't have been us that disturbed those Franklins, surely. Unless dwarf mongoose or something. Make our way back towards Guaripan and Cheetah Cutline. I think these elephants probably went north. We'll come around from Cheetah Cutline maybe like to touch base with Cheetah Cut Line just to see what tracks there are. Jan Francis will be doing a drive this afternoon. It'd be nice to get some idea of where we can guide him to. Find things. I don't think anybody will be as lucky as Ruan with regards to the amount of exciting things that were happening. But this is the bush and it is unpredictable, and we could have things like wild dog or cheetah or something really exciting coming our way in the next few days. I think it's what keeps us going, knowing that any minute, any bend we come around, or at any moment there could be something fantastic to see. Kudu. Looks like a bull, yeah, a lovely kudu bull. Don't move, child, don't move. Wow, look at this. His neck is so thick. Help him carry the weight of those horns. Just going to stop here. I don't want to push him into that thick bush behind him. But that's got quite a broad neck on him. Now, while the Nyala bull might be a striking antelope in terms of his coloration and his posture, the kudu is striking because of its elegance, its size, and I think most importantly just that rack of horns that you get on a kudu bull. And they're not even that long or widely spread. Not that fantastic a specimen. He is big and he's got an incredibly thick neck. I think that's what I notice most about this particular bull is his neck, more than his horns. It's like bulges just behind his head. We'll get a better view of him. Maybe through here. Possible there are a couple of other bulls around. Or it could also be that there might be some cows around. Difficult to tell in this thick stuff. We have had a bachelor group of kudu bulls of 5, 6 odd, sometimes 6, generally 5 of them. We've seen on and off over time. And then the other day we had a kudu bull with some cows, which must have meant that they were in estrus and he was following them. The bulls don't generally stay with the herd. Have a look at tracks around Guaripan. I also want to see Guaripan. There's still water in it. Not much in the way of fresh tracks here though. Elephant tracks, but they're a couple of days old. The elephants that were following up towards Buffelshoek Dam obviously went north. We might find them on the Buffelshoek cut line now. No movement. Cheetah cut line either. Animals have really got to get their timing right. We had all this activity when there were so many vehicles out with all the landowners and everybody over the weekend, and now with only one vehicle from each lodge. Basically there are 3 vehicles out today. Us, Texan and Andrew. And not much animal activity. Not even up on Buffelshoek. Might be temperature related because it was such a cold morning. something making the sky a little bit hazy today. The sun isn't as strong, but I was looking to the west, trying to make out the escarpment. You can barely make out the escarpment on the mountains. And it's not like a visible haze. And it looks like it's just a clear blue sky, but it's not. You can only really tell by trying to make out detail on the horizon. This is where there were a lot of ellies. Something there, the elephant just crossing the road way down below us. But a lot of the elephant were here too. This is probably where they came up this way from Buffelshoek Dam. Very fresh tracks and leaves in the road. But there, elephant, let's stop here quickly. You can see some more elephant crossing back onto our side of the road. Far up ahead, there's a little calf coming into the water, into the road. Water. My brain. Now you should be able to see mountains in the distance, but we can't. Maybe it's smoke. That also could be some of the elephants that were at Buffelshoek Dam. Sorry, Herman. Hello, Anne. Going over to Vancouver, Canada now. Hello, Anne. And Anne wants to know if I was correct in saying that web we saw a little bit earlier today was a caterpillar web, not a spider web. That's correct. But now you see, caterpillar is not spinning a web for the same reason that a spider spins a web. Caterpillar silk, that's more for protection than anything else. The community of caterpillars that live inside that dense nest of silk, and at night they come out and browse on the leaves of the tree during the day to get away from birds. I can't remember what species of caterpillar it is. I'll try and find out. Should have it in one of my books. They move up and they will make almost silk tunnels. In fact, they can make a silken mat, a silken net that can cover most of the branches and trunk of a tree. That will allow them to move around that tree without being detected, without being seen by birds. And they'll move underneath the silk. Quite a remarkable adaptation. Defensive adaptation. Those elephants are only a little bit west of Buffelshoek Dam. They could even be some of the elephants that I've been looking for. We saw the tracks on Nyala Road North. Coming north. There is sandgrass again.
I think that's where they just crossed now. Right there.
Maybe going to Buffelshoek Dam. Back to the dam. Mind the millipede. Still millipedes running around. Even though it's quite cold. But it's damp enough for them. For them, more important to be around with moisture than it is to be warm. So they are kind of cutting through towards the road to the dam. There are also elephants coming this way. Pretty thick in there. They're underneath that torchwood, probably picking up. I noticed some of the torchwoods are fruiting at the moment. They're probably underneath that torchwood. There's a very big torchwood there, collecting some of the fruits of the Balanites. But I think a bit optimistic, thinking they're going to make their way to the dam in the next few minutes. They're milling about back there. But we'll come to the side of the dam nonetheless. Morning, Flusfat. See if we can see these ellies. We haven't had a nice view of elephant this morning, just had a couple of glimpses. Starting to warm up nicely now though. not even going to get to see these elephants.
Yeah, still standing here at this Balanites. Definitely picking up fruit from this torchwood.
See if we can sneak in there.
Small family group. It's the same little group that we had at Treehouse.
Not many of them.
Hello, Mrs. Ellie. Flapped her ears at me. I'm not coming near your fruit. I don't want any Balanites fruits. Thank you very much. Say hello. And yours. But we're not even going to get a good view here. Magnificent tree. That moved off. I probably found most of it. You can see how flat it is. Very similar to the way they flatten the grasses around the marula trees. Hello. Yeah, I suppose now you don't really like me being here because I'm potentially on your fruits, huh? Hello, madam. Smelling us. Now they're making their way towards the dam. Just making sure she makes a noise though, that's for sure. She walks through the trees. She rubs close to them and sort of opens her ear and makes sure that the branches slap against her side. I think sending me a message. Oops. Oops. Yeah, I've just bent the jack.
Or bent the bracket that the jack is on. The flip. That hit me in the knee. You're watching me, watching you. Bye bye, elephants. Enjoy your day. I've bent something. Well, it's nice. 2 minutes within an elephant. Maybe later. They are coming into our part of the world. But the time has come that we're going to have to say goodbye. We have a long way home. Got to get the vehicle back. And looks like I've got some bending to do. There, I did the bending. Gosh, so funny how suddenly it gets warm. Folks, thanks for joining me this morning. It has been a little bit of a quiet drive, but I've had fun. And, well, we know that Karula's around camp. And maybe we'll be able to find her later this afternoon or early this evening. She might come out onto the open area. My name is Mark, with Daniel on camera. From those of us on the vehicle and everyone back in final control, Herman and Tara and Siyabonga, and everyone at Wild Earth Safari, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later this afternoon. Bye for now.
Good morning, everyone. This is Herman in Final Control, and thank you very much for joining us on our AM Safari. Please be sure to join us this afternoon at 3 o'clock Central African Time, when we'll be going out on our PM Safari. We've got a new triad presenter, Jan, that will be going out. I'll be his camera person, and Mark will be in Final Control. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with some more beautiful elephants here at Djuma Game Reserve. But from all of us here at Wild Earth Safari, for now, goodbye, and talk to you again this afternoon.